I think you probably
Can you
did.
hear me if I go without a mic? No? I've never heard that somebody can't hear me. That's amazing. That's only guys at work. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Good morning. How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Good. I'm Deanna Blanc, and I work with Advanced Processing Technology, or AvPro, here in Norman. We've been your Norman neighbor for over 20 years, and we haven't had a huge presence in the local community, and it's time for us to change that. So that's what I'm here to do, is to start talking about our business, and mostly, for my focus, the business of the business. But first, let's tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we're making money and how we're changing technology. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's try it up. There we go. Okay, AvPro. We started back in the 1990s. Tom Rose is our founder. Tom Rose was one of the initiators in using composite materials in building aircraft. AvPro is what we're saying, taking you inside the cure process. What I want to talk about first of all is what any of this means. I'm a business person, I'm not a chemist or an engineer. If I offend the chemists or engineers, forgive me, but I'm going to have to do this my own way. Composite materials are layers of carbon fiber textile compressed with layers of resin. It creates a very strong, lightweight, durable material that they use in making aircraft parts. Okay? These parts are taken, they're used by companies like Boeing, General Atomics, GKN, the US Air Force, Apex, the spaceship company. All of these are our customers here in Norman. Okay, so talking about an airplane, I talk about autoclaves. If you work in medical, you're thinking autoclave, the little thing that they have in the office that they sterilize equipment. What we're really talking about is a 35 by 40 foot pressure vessel that's big enough to hold the fuselage of an airplane, but it also does smaller parts. So this is where we're working. It's gonna come back. Let's talk about cake. If you've seen the ads for today's talk, you heard me talk about cake. This is a good way to explain our existing technology and our new technology. When you're taking these layers of resin and carbon fiber and you're building a part or you're repairing a part, you take the layers, you put them in a bag, basically a Ziploc bag, and you have thermocouples that attach to the edge. Right here is your important part. This is where you're fixing it. But what you're doing is taking temperatures on the edge. Okay? Tom Rose was one of the first people who said, hey, how about we put computers on the floor of the shop where this is being done, because this is a lot of data that can be processed. Computers will be great. So one of our tools, and the one right now that we have out in the field functioning all kinds of places, is our control system software. It goes onto the autoclave, it reads what's going on here, and it also controls the autoclave for getting it hotter, colder, holding it at temperature, pressure, the whole bit. What happens when this is done, when it's cured, when it's been in the oven long enough, they take it out of the bag, they cut off all the edges, they throw those away because it's not important, it's not what they meant to use. So that's great. So now they know what's going on the edge of the bag. This stuff gets thrown away. We hope as we're sealing the bag that we don't have any leaks, because you can't pull pressure if you have leaks. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. We're throwing stuff away. We don't know what's going on there. Tom Rose said, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way to do this without all of this waste and this mathematical genius and, I don't know, maybe a good little luck. And so he started thinking about, when you make a cake, we know that the outside of the cake cooks faster. Is that 4 left or 4 down?
4 down.
4 down. Okay, so we're going to go through this. So what we have now, what we are testing, what we have SBIR dollars for, is a sensor that gets placed right there. And we read that sensor so that we're not throwing all those edge materials away, and we know what's going on right there. That's our thermopulse microsensor. Okay? CSS is our control system. Thermopulse is the microwire. Right now, we are on a phase 2 SBIR contract. We have $750,000 over a 2-year program. We already created phase 1. If I remember correctly, we're at a TRL 6 or 7, I believe. And we're hoping to have this commercialized maybe within the next 3 years. That's the hope. Okay. Yeah, we have some, I want you to be able to see the size of these wires and tubes. So we're going to pass some cards around if you'll share those. So AvPro in the last 4 years has increased its sales by 600%. Okay? One of the things, it's not me, but it is introducing a business person into technology. Hans and Tom Rose are brilliant. They have a business and a product that they love in an industry that matters to them, and they're really good at it. But what they're not good at doing, they admit it, is chasing down the contracts, getting things built, staying within scope. I don't know, I'm real familiar with scope creep. I come from civil engineering, and scope creep is something we're always managing. So my job is to help with all that. I herd the cats, they call me the burr under the saddle. I'm the one who says you can't spend that money. I'm also the one who's been able to get all of our receivables turned around in 28 days on average. We bill everything within the week the cost is incurred. So I think it's important to be able to talk about how important it is to have a strong business person in your office. You guys are running small businesses. You're here in Norman. Yes, accountants are important, but you want to make sure when your company can afford it, that you have somebody with an analytical background who can help you make the most of those dollars and chase the stuff that really you're not interested in so that you can do the things you love. So right now we're AvPro, we're moving forward. We're working on figuring out how we're going to structure our business once the thermopulse comes online. What do we want our company to look like? Do we want products on a shelf? Or do we want to keep doing what we're doing where we go out and meet our customers and work one-on-one with them? We have a big curve ahead of us. We're looking at our 3-year plan. I'm working right now, I'm going through the SBA Emerging Leaders Program, which is going to help us come up with a growth plan. We're doing everything right, and I think the next thing that we're doing right now is introducing ourselves to our community, because we're not going to be able to do this alone. We need more smart people in our company. We need ideas of how we're going to structure our company. And I thank you all very much for letting us come in today and putting up with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just real quick, just because you guys need to know the men of AvPro. These are the guys that I get up for in the morning because their passion is what I get excited about. So Tom Rose, the founder, his son Hans, Bob's in charge of our lab. Chad is a chemical engineer from OU, and then the last guy was our contractor who writes our software.
Wonderful, great group, and you get to put up with all of them right at the onset. Yeah, thank you so much for those words. We appreciate it. Yeah, you are, for sure. Neat company, hard to believe sometimes that these kinds of companies are happening here in Norman, Oklahoma. I think you forget that this cool stuff is going on. So I want to start out with the first question, and then that gives you a couple of seconds to think of your question. What can we do as a Norman community to best support you and AvPro in a way that would benefit the company?
We have been super fortunate. We've got 3 great interns from War Norman Tech and from OU. These interns are doing an amazing job. We're going to be needing more. We're going to need more interns who can come in and help us with fabrication. We're also looking for fabrication facilities locally. Trying really hard not to take some of this work out and put it, right now it looks like some of it's going to be going to Reno, because that's where Tom is living currently, and we have a partner out there, but we'd like to keep that in-house. So trying to help us find smart people who are interested in composites. Computer engineering is really important. Another thing that we're trying to figure out is just to get our heads around what we want to be, what we want our structure to look like. Without thermopulse, we are not so extraordinary. So thermopulse is going to be critical. Right now, it's 1/3 of our sales. So the other 2/3 are great, but everything is built around thermopulse coming through so that we have what we call as a fully activated material state management program, that we take these materials and we manage what's going on with them from start to finish. So if people have ideas of how we might structure, we're a family-owned business. we're not all going to live forever, and we're preparing for the next generation. And that's important, partly because Tom's not going to be around forever. Hans has now expressed an interest in keeping the business and growing it. So anybody who has experience and ideas of how we might do this, please give me a call, let me know. I'd love to talk to you. I'm starting to look for some legal resources so that we can get more IP protection. I'm finding that it's hard to find businesses who want really small businesses. Just getting insurance was difficult. Some companies want to force us and tell us that we are an airplane company, and they want to insure us for liability as if we're an airplane company, and we're not. So we're dealing with a lot of that sort of stuff. So any business ideas, suggestions, recommendations, experiences, all that's very helpful. We're trying to really get out of ourselves from a business perspective.
Any questions or suggestions? I heard an opportunity for suggestions as well. Questions that you might want to ask the audience. Let's go back to Carmen.
Currently make aircraft parts, though?
We do not make aircraft parts. We support the manufacturing of aircraft parts, the manufacture, the repair, and the maintenance of them by managing the autoclave controls. So our customers are the manufacturers, the GKN, the Apex, the Air Ready, on and on and on. Folks out at Tinker. I'd love to get out to Tinker again. We got to Oklahoma because of Tinker. I haven't been out in Tinker in a long time. We've got a couple things that we're trying to cook, but we'd love to get out there. Sarita.
What does it take to manufacture your pieces? That is something you create, right?
So we sent around some cards. I hope you guys have circulated them. The microwire cards, let me explain real quick. If you're looking at one of these cards, on the back, these are one of the things that our interns do because nobody can produce these business cards. The top, the bigger sensor, that is a hollow tube that has 3 wires in it. Okay, that is the sensor. That's what gets embedded into the part. Below that, the thing that you're going to go, Dion, there's nothing there. Yes, there is. There's 1 wire there. That's one of the wires that you can see that. These are not the cards, but the wires themselves are being manufactured for us overseas. We would like very much to bring that back into the U.S. And right now we're working with some companies trying to see what they can do about making these. They're being handmade also a little bit in Wichita. TSI Technologies, who we license this from. We have the license for the microwire technology for the entire aerospace community. So that is ours alone. We're looking at getting into a couple other fields where we'll also have it. So we are looking for places where we can take the wires and have them manufactured locally, at least in the States, at least someplace better. They're in a friendly country, but it's not a country. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's gosh, now that I'm up here saying this, it's like, thanks, Sarita. No, there are no political issues, no nothing. We have no government constraints on the manufacturing that we're doing. It's just never really sounds good. So, we need help. If somebody wants to help manufacture these, we also have, we're doing all of our prototyping. We've got Bob in our lab who's doing our prototyping. The first one turned out to be a plastic file holder that you put magazines on a shelf. So we've got him in there MacGyvering and being a professor from Gilligan's Island doing our fabrication. We're expecting an order for 10 to 100 of these units. Right now we're putting them out about 5 at a time. Bob's not going to be able to do that, and our 3 interns won't be enough. So fabrication facilities and technology is going to be something else that we need. Yes?
So do you feel like there's real competition for your product, your services, and do you have any patents on it?
Okay, we have 1 patent that's pending. We're working on getting that through. We're spending a lot of time and effort working on that. Is there competition for this? Nobody else has this and nobody else does it the way that we're doing. My understanding is that there's not a lot of competition. People just haven't figured out how to do it. and how to do it reliably. I can't honestly say that I know exactly what the competitive field is right now, but I've not heard anybody inside or outside of AvPro sounding really concerned about that right now. And I think one of the reasons is there's cost savings that are going to be realized. One of the things we're having a hard time getting, somebody tell us how much money is being wasted on these composite materials because they've reached their shelf life, so they have to be thrown away. We don't know if they're still good, but data says they have to be thrown away. So there's a cost. When you cut the edges off and you throw it away, there's a cost. People want to talk about cost savings, but they don't want to tell us how much they're wasting. So there's maybe some reasons not to compete with this and stick with some legacy technology.
We have time for 2 or 3 more questions.
So a suggestion might be to start to put together some sort of RFPs so that if there are local or Oklahoma-based companies that could help with manufacturing, that could help with the legal side, that could help with any different areas, and starting to find a way that we can circulate those, then that might help to at least give businesses the ability to say, oh, we can do that, and then connect with you. So I don't know if that's something that would be able to be posted online, or if you would like to create a network so people could get that information. I think that would be helpful.
I think that is really terrific, because right now what we're doing to find people to help us manufacture things, test things, come up with components for it, really what's happening is Tom Rose is just running the roads across the US and across Europe, talking to different companies that can help us with some of this, but it's a long, arduous process to see if they can do it, because they're trying to fit into what we need. And so perhaps putting RFP out there, we might get some folks who say, oh yeah, we are, that's no big deal, we'll be glad to help you. So thank you, Kristen. I like that idea. I should have thought of that. Anybody else?
Time for a couple more questions. I have one.